My Lords, we're committed to protecting children from online harms. Under the Online Safety Act, social media companies have a duty to remove illegal, misogynist and violent content from their platforms. From July, platforms will also need to protect children from harmful content, including hateful or abusive content, violent content and pornography. Ofcom is clear it will use its strong enforcement powers for platforms failing to fulfil these duties, and this reflects the priority the government places on these actions.
My Lords, the Netflix programme Adolescence is a brutal exposition of the growing incel culture and manosphere that is infecting too many hearts and minds. A staggering 45% of young men have a positive view of the misogynistic influencer and conspiracist Andrew Tate. Every 29 minutes, there is a post about rape on a popular incel forum. This content is leading to hatred of women and girls and serious violence. I listened closely to what my noble friend just said. Is she able to set out what the government is doing to prevent this explosion of harmful misogynistic content, and in particular the radicalisation that it can inspire?
My Lords, the government recognises the destructive role that misogynistic attitudes, including online misogynistic content, can play in society, including the impact that can have on the views and behaviours of men and boys. Tackling misogyny both online and offline is central to our mission to halve violence against women and girls in a decade, supporting victims and preventing harm in our communities. And we will publish a new violence against women strategy this year. The government will also ensure schools address the root causes of violence against women and girls and teach pupils about healthy relationships and consent, and continue to ensure children and young people are at the heart of prevention and intervention programmes and policies.
Adolescence was intimate image abuse. The government has just this week rejected the Women and Equalities Committee recommendation to increase the time limits victims have to seek justice when their intimate images have been non-consensually shared from 6 months. Can I ask the noble Baroness the Minister to explain the government's reasoning for rejecting a change that would help so many victims?
My Lords, the government welcomed the Women and Equality Committee's report in tackling non-consensual intimate image abuse, and the issues that they raise are an absolute priority for us. This is why we've already taken action by strengthening the Online Safety Act and introducing further offences as part of the Crime and Policing Bill and the Data Use and Access Bill. And I pay tribute to the noble lady for all the work she's done in helping us to strengthen that legislation. We will not hesitate to go further, protect women and girls online, and technology-facilitated abuse will be a key component of the upcoming cross-government violence against women and girls strategy.
The Online Safety Act. Sorry.
There's been much discussion about access online for children and young people at schools, and the advice on keeping phones out of schools is much welcomed. But surely we also need to ensure that parents and carers have all the information and skills that they need to navigate and guide their children. So can I ask the Minister if this government is planning a comprehensive campaign to alert them to online harms and ensure that parents have the right digital skills to be able to access information and support for their children?
I thank the noble lady for that point. It's an absolutely important point. Media literacy in all its forms is absolutely important for parents and teachers and young people to make sure that we do create a respectful online environment. Ofcom have specific media literacy duties which they will carry out. Their media literacy strategy prioritises research and initiatives to address online misogyny, including research to understand how such harmful behaviour occurs. And as set out in that strategy, Ofcom expects their work on online misogyny to directly target teenage boys and young men. But the noble lady is right. It goes further than that. We have to educate parents as well to know to know and to look at what their children are accessing. There is a huge job of work to be done on education in the wider sphere. Obviously, schools are playing their part in this now, as the noble lady acknowledged. We've got far more to do in it, and all aspects of government are addressing these issues.
My Lords, the Online Safety Act allows Ofcom to look at how much children are using social media, yet the new Children's Code from Ofcom doesn't mention addiction. What is the government doing to deal with the problem of screen addiction amongst our children?
Well, the noble lord will know that schools already have a policy, or are expected by the Department for Education to have a policy to ensure that children don't have access to phones in schools. That is a very clear policy which the government is keen to reiterate. What we're talking about here is what children do outside of the school environment. The Children's Code of Practice from July will provide much greater reassurance and protection for children. Services will be expected to provide age-appropriate experiences online by protecting children from bullying, violent content, abuse and misogynistic content. In other words, there will be much more forceful regulation to specifically protect children. This will be, obviously, we will continue to monitor the codes of practice, but there is very specific new powers under that code that are coming into effect in July, and we want to see how that impacts.
My Lords, I very much hope the government is actively tracking and measuring the effects of schools' own policies on mobile phone use during the school day. If so, what conclusions can be drawn about the wisdom of an outright ban? And if they aren't tracking this information, why not?
Well, my Lords, as I say, the Department of Education's mobile phone in school guidance is clear that schools should prohibit the use of devices with smart technology throughout the school day, including during lessons, transitions and breaks. And the government expects all schools to take steps in line with that. But beyond that, my own department, DCIT, has commissioned a piece of research to look at young people's use of social media, and we are looking at throughout the day what that access is, and the report is, or the outcome of the research is due very, very soon. We will learn the lessons for that. The fact is that up until now, the evidence hasn't been as clear-cut as we would like. We're hoping as well to learn on an international basis of what we can learn in terms of protecting young people throughout the day, and we will apply those lessons once that evidence has been assessed.
My Lords, as there is time. Adolescence is probably the latest in a long line of TV dramas that has the effect of changing societal attitudes. You can think of Kathy Come Home, Queer as Folk, Mr. Bates versus the Post Office, and indeed Breathtaking. But one of the ways in which young people can be encouraged to get off their mobile phones is through engaging more in drama. But we are seeing drama and arts taken out of the curriculum. So does she agree that there is a value in these dramas, not just in raising awareness and changing attitudes, but in helping young people to explore themselves, their identity, and communicate in ways that don't involve these devices?
Yeah.
The noble lady makes a very important point that we need to provide alternatives to online activities to young people, and she's absolutely right about theatre, drama, and also sports activities, which can also help with that. The Department for Education are conducting a curriculum review at the moment, and I know that this is one of their priorities, to make sure that children genuinely have a balanced curriculum and a wholesome curriculum that deals with all of those issues. It's not just academic, but deals with children's development in the round, which is exactly what the noble lady is saying.
Finland is known as a global leader in education in schools that focuses on critical thinking and ability to absorb online information and regard it sceptically when needed. Would the noble lady, the Minister, agree with me that that is something we need to see much more of in British schools? But that we're presenting teachers with a real challenge when we have so many other subjects that are focused on teaching to the test, rote learning, things you have to regurgitate. We've really got to think about the whole way in which our schooling operates, so it's focused on critical thinking.
Well, the Noble Lady makes a very good point, and it goes back to the need for a balanced curriculum. And I think in the past our curriculum has become too focused on a very specific set of goals and not about those broader issues. And having healthy relationships is part of teaching and learning at school. So that is absolutely something that we need to do, and we are strengthening the provisions of that within the curriculum. And the Department of Education will also provide guidance to help young people develop those skills which all young people need to be able to navigate this very complex modern world.